What's going on, guys? We are back once again, and we're going to be talking about another movie here on the channel. We're going to be talking about Jumanji: The Next Level. Now, this is a little bit of a late review due to it has been out a couple months. I was unable to watch it when it first came out. It took me a little bit to finally did watch it, but I liked it. First off, let me just say that the movie itself was a great addition to the series. Now, if you guys have not seen it, obviously you should have already seen it for, spoiler alert, because I'm going to go into a lot of different things here. But it really goes into, it goes a year after the first film, where you see the character Spence and everybody else, they've been doing their own thing. Spence comes back home to his hometown, and we do get to see where he has been explaining to, because he goes into basically who plays his grandfather, Danny DeVito, who was great to see him back in the screen, as well as seeing Danny Glover, as well as we later find out in the movie that these two, they were best friends, but Danny Glover's character sold a restaurant. They both ran together for so many years. Then he finally decided to come back after how long? In 15 years, and then Danny DeVito and him try to get their issues out, but there is scenes in the movie where he states to Danny DeVito and Danny Glover, because it really goes into building friendships more in this movie and rebuilding, if you're with somebody that is your best friend, or even if they were friends, you have an outing or there's an issue, then there's always something that you can do to rebuild that friendship. And I really like that. There was a lot in this film that was funny. It was funny, action-packed, drama-filled. So if you guys are fans of any of these actors, but I will say Dwayne Johnson did a great job at portraying not just the character Spencer, but also portraying, which was amazing, seeing Danny DeVito, portraying Danny DeVito, how his voice was in this film. It was absolutely hilarious. And then same thing with Kevin Hart, embodying Danny Glover in this, Danny Glover's character, and then also seeing, Fridge as well. And then we also get to see Jack Black doing three different characters, Fridge, as well as Martha, and then also as Bethany. So that was really funny. And then of course we have it was just really interesting, because they basically, of course, you see in the film that Fridge goes into Jack Black's character, Martha goes back to her character, Ruby Roundhouse, Danny DeVito's character goes into Dwayne Johnson's character, Danny Glover goes into Kevin Hart's character. So there is a lot of, trying to teach, your grandparents or older people how to play a video game, or how to survive in a video game, because they're trying to teach them, and there's a lot of fun, and like really, and then you find out that Spence, he wanted to relive glory days in that game, and they came back to help them. You got Bethany's character, who did not go into the game at first. She literally goes get the Nick Jonas's character that was in the film, and she goes to him for help, and then they go into the game to help their friends, and they basically go through this entire journey of someone trying to take over the world, Jumanji, and then they have where they're all trying to rebuild friendships, and then you later find out that Spence was very just depressed. He felt very insecure about himself. He felt very like, why, because he was looking at his girlfriend's or ex-girlfriend's character Martha's Instagram. He kept telling her that it looked like, you were having so much fun, you were doing this, you were doing that, and she kept telling him, she says, that I'm scared of doing this, I'm scared of that, and they both admitted to one another that when you're insecure and you're scared, don't you think, there's a line in the movie that Karen Gillan just delivers so well with her and Dwayne Johnson on screen, and it states where she says, well, don't you think when the times you feel insecure, you feel alone, you feel scared, don't you think that's when you need your people the most? Which is basically meaning your friends that are there for you thick and thin, because for these four individuals, they barely could stand one another, or did not want to be around one another in the very first movie. Now here they are, they're acting like, their own little, almost like Breakfast Club reminds me of a little bit, or their own little, group. And it's really cool how they really became good friends, and it goes in. It just really is interesting how Dwayne Johnson, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, they really show a lot of their skills as an actor to, and even Karen Gillan, to really portray all these different characters in a movie, and they do such an amazing job at it. And when I first watched the very first film, I was really skeptical about if the movie was going to do well because of course, I grew up watching the original Robin Williams so many times, and I loved it. And I do love the remakes. I do. I like Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. I like The Next Level. I love it. It's very funny. It's a family film. It's for all ages. That's the way I look at it. It really is for all ages. It's really funny. It has a mix between Journey to the Center of the Earth type of feel. If you've never seen Jumanji, it has a Hercules type of journey to it. Because again, this movie is just hilarious. Because there's a scene in the movie which I absolutely love where Dwayne Johnson, they get Danny DeVito's character like telling this ostrich to get out of here, and he just kills him. The next thing all you hear is they're like really, and you see where Danny DeVito and Danny Glover, I got to give them a hand because they did an absolute fantastic job at just portraying these characters. And I like them both. Danny DeVito and Dan Glover, I grew up watching them, and it was great seeing them in another film because Danny DeVito and Dan Glover, they're very charismatic, they're very likable. They know how to go about of a character. You can't help but just like them because there's a scene where Danny DeVito, they switch characters to go back to the characters they're supposed to be, and then Dan Glover goes from Kevin Hart's character to the horse, and you see where Danny DeVito goes into the Asian lady, which I can't remember the name, and then you see where he says, "Oh, you." He goes to the side, he says, "Oh man," he says, "you need to see your blanket." Of course, he was talking about for the horse's girth. It was hilarious in that one part of the film. And then you see where Kevin Hart, with him portraying Dan Glover, where Jack Black gets killed by an anaconda. He goes, "What in the Sam hell happened to him?" It's just it's very, you can't help but just laugh and really have a good time, to enjoy yourself, to laugh very hard. Where this movie, I was nonstop laughing throughout the entire film, and I was just thinking throughout the entire film, is there going to be a third one? Because at the very end, you find out that Dan Glover's character is dying. Don't say to what, but him and Danny DeVito's character does make up. And with Dan Glover staying inside the horse's character, he does realize he will not be able to escape. As he said, he says, "I'm 75 years old, and I was just now able to fly because the horse was able to become a Pegasus in a form." So I thought that was pretty cool that, he knows he's going to die, but in this world, someone will be able to look after it, and he'll be able to live on. And Danny DeVito's character was able to forgive him after what happened, became very good friends again, and then later on goes to the restaurant and then slowly finds like, okay, maybe I can get back in the restaurant business and keep going. And Spence and Fridge and Martha and Bethany, they all have their little gathering again at the very end of the film. And they're like, well, let's not do this again. There's a scene where Fridge, he's about ready to take a bite of cake, and he just looks at it, and he's thinking of his character in the film, and he goes, "Oh hell no!" He's just like, because like there's like Kevin Hart character in the movie was, he could not have cake because otherwise he'd die, and I'm just like, he really became the character. It was really hilarious because he's just like, "Oh hell no," and will there be a third one? There's been in talks of a third one. Now, if there is not a third one, that is perfectly fine. But I'm wondering, okay, if there is going to be a third one, of course, Dwayne Johnson, Karen Gillan, Kevin Hart, Jack Black would have to return. Now, there was rumors that Jack Black, this was going to be his last film, unfortunately. Don't know how true that is, because, again, he could always change his mind. Kevin Hart, this was one of the movies he did before he did get hurt in his accident, which I'm thankful that he's been able to recover from that. I'm hoping that there may be a third one. If there will not be, that's fine. With the characters as well with that story. I don't know how much further they can go with that story, because they all agreed they don't want to go back to it. The only reason why Spence was wanting to go back was try to relive himself as to be like a hero, which he always wanted to be through, Dr. Bravestone, the character Dwayne Johnson did. So it was really interesting throughout the entirety of the film, where you just sit back, relax, have a good laugh, enjoy the action. The CGI was good, the storyline was good, the acting was very well done. Now there was certain scenes where it was just like really, like especially with some of the other actors, but it was a very interesting, fun family film. There's to me, it's all ages. It's fun. Your kid, if you want your kids to watch it, that's up to you. It's a good little film, with your significant other. It's a good family film, if your family likes these type of movies. But let me know what you guys think about Jumanji: The Next Level in the comments down below. If you guys enjoyed your day as well, if you guys need channels, consider about subscribing. Let me know what you guys thought about the movie in the comments down below. Are you guys a fan of the original, or are you guys a fan of the remakes? I like all of them. Honestly, I think they're a very good honor to Robin Williams. May he rest. But I think this may be the end of the Jumanji series for right now, until they may want to try to reboot it again. But let's see what happens. I will be seeing you guys in the very next one. Take care.